Hello and welcome
to the Delusional Boyfriend Book Club, where if shipping One Piece characters is wrong,
I don't want to be right.
My name is Courtney.
And I'm Wolf.
And today we are talking about One Piece Volume 18. This is chapters 156 through 166 if you're reading on the Shonen Jump app. Make sure that you rate, review, and subscribe because we drop a new episode every Tuesday, and I do a BL and romance episode every Thursday. To jump right in, Wolfgang, do you have any ships from this volume? I have 3 new ships. I have a straight ship, a BL ship, and a ship that we were already shipping that's also BL.
Yeah, probably one at least.
Who?
Do you want to do it now, or do you want?
Yeah,
I
want to know.
Okay.
Because this one, I feel like there is a lot of potential for people getting together and falling in love.
First of all, I really like this cover of One Piece. I don't know if you guys can see that well, but it's a great cover. It has the whole crew. It has Ace. It has Luffy dying in the desert, pretty much. He's
panting.
Yeah, he's thirsty.
It has Vivi and it has Ace with his 6-pack out. If you guys aren't watching on YouTube, all of these videos are available on YouTube. If you are listening on the podcast app, make sure that you turn on your auto downloads. But go subscribe to us on YouTube as well.
And I think it has. Yeah, so in the corner next to Vivi, it has the Kung Fu Jugon.
I love that little creature.
Yeah, but so sorry to answer your question. I like the cover, but to answer your question, I shipped, in this book, you get a rebel commander named Koza, thank you. So Koza and Vivi, which would be cool, but also I think that you shipping Nami and Vivi is also something, so I don't want to take away from that ship.
I have shipped Nami and Vivi since we watched the anime initially, but going back and reading the manga, when I saw this flashback of Princess Vivi and her childhood friend, Koza, even though they're enemies now, it's giving enemies to friends to enemies to lovers. They're in a little street fight as kids, and then they become buddies. Now he is the leader of the rebels who is going against her father, so they're enemies again, and I think that they should be lovers. There seems to be a lot of chemistry there, and he's hot with his eye scar, so I totally ship them.
Yeah, and this is a character you meet towards the end of this volume.
And in Vivi's flashbacks.
Yeah, that was more towards the end. It's in the middle of the book. But yeah, I ship them.
Do you still ship Django and Full Body? They're still in all of the chapter covers.
Yeah, so the buggy thing where he has, during the beginning of each chapter, there's like a little panel. It's the exact same thing, Django and Full Body.
And it's been going on for several volumes now.
Yeah, I still want to go back and see if that's actually an episode, because I understand what's happening in the panels. What's happening is there's a rogue group of pirates that come to this place that Django's at and start to cause havoc for the Navy there, and then Django steps in and protects the Navy and protects Full Body, who's getting beaten up. And he joins the Navy, and so that's his story about joining the Navy. I don't remember Full Body and Django ever really coming back.
And I wonder with so many, we've got to rewatch the anime for it, but there's so many filler episodes that you'd think that they would give one to this backstory, which has been playing out for 3 volumes now on the beginning of each chapter.
Do you want to get into the other people who ship?
I have one more ship,
okay,
which is going to start us off. It's very early in this volume, but we meet Ace, who's on the cover of this book,
right, yeah.
And he battles Smoker and saves Luffy. And I shipped Ace and Smoker. Ace says something to him. Smoker, why don't you just let me go? If you're here to find Luffy, I'm here to find Luffy too. And he's, because as long as I'm in the Navy and you're a pirate, I'm gonna have to capture you. And they go to fight, and Ace says, I'm too good of a match for you. I'm fire and you're smoke.
And so that's why you ship them. But
yeah, they're way too evenly matched, and I think that would be really steamy. Literally, it's very fiery, very hot. So I'm extremely into them. I know there has to be a fanfic somewhere out there. So if you guys know of one, send it to me. There has to be a fanfic with Smoker and Ace, and they're just off.
I was more surprised at I think last episode I mentioned the Cross Guild, and so I was more surprised there wasn't any fan art for you of the Cross Guild.
We found a bit. I mean,
yeah, but you look at some ridiculous stuff.
You have to go to the Patreon for the artists to get the really explicit stuff. But I would bet you that there is a lot of fanfic, which we didn't look for. You looked for fan art. You weren't looking for fanfic, which is where it gets extremely explicit, is when they're writing a 400-page book. They'll do 200,000 words in a fanfic sometimes.
Someone just has time for that?
Oh, lots of people have time for that. That's their whole hobby, is writing it. So I bet you that there's one with Ace and Smoker flavor, and I bet you it's very fiery.
There's
You know what they're saying about Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender?
No.
After everyone saw them in their adult forms, they keep saying that Aang, when he's close to coming, would glow blue, and then Zuko would steam because he's so hot. He would steam or burst into flames or shoot lightning. And
what is wrong with this community?
they're so raunchy. I love
That's-
them so much. And then they say it when Toph's close to coming, she'll start an earthquake.
No, that's actually really funny. That would be really funny because she's super powerful, and then you see the glow up of her like when she becomes an adult. We're getting off topic. Anyway,
So those are my ships for this volume. Take us quickly through the plot of volume 18. Again, chapters 156 through 166.
sure. So the way that this one starts off, the crew on the last one, they're at sea going to Alabasta. They're starving. They're fishing because Luffy and a lot of the crew has eaten most of their food. So they're going around off the sea, heading towards Alabasta, using the
Eternal log
Thank you,
pose.
the eternal log pose. There's so many different terms in this, term words.
So then they see some steam pockets, and
Yeah.
Nami says that's a volcano under the ocean. There's more volcanoes under the ocean.
You get some real geology stuff because I think that's one thing that's really cool about One Piece is Oda. His favorite things is Vikings, pirates, and then I honestly think it might be like
Maps, cartography, geography,
Cartography.
and environmental stuff, the different seasonal islands, and
Everything
the
like
jungle.
that. Yeah.
He's pretty nerdy, science fiction nerd.
I think he's a big traveler. But like you were saying, there's these steam pockets that are coming up in the ocean, and the Straw Hats, they're like, "What's that? What's going on?" Nami comes out and says, "Don't worry, it's just steam coming up from the volcanoes under the ocean. We'll sail right through. It'll be fine." So the boys, Luffy, Usopp, and Chopper, have now run out of all their bait. They're trying to fish up food. Then all of a sudden, at the same time, Bon Clay, who we met in the last one too, is also going through this steam pocket as well with his crew, and he says, "Full steam ahead, let's go."
They fish up
Bon
Bon
Clay.
Clay out of nowhere.
And he ends up being on their boat.
And he is so hilarious and good-tempered that he's, thank you guys for saving me.
Mm-hmm.
And I just absolutely love him. Vivi is looking for a guy named Mr. Two, who is also called Bon Clay, who wears makeup and talks like a girl and is silly. But this character doesn't seem like a villain.
And she's never met him before.
And they all just start kikiing and having a good time. Bon Clay slaps Luffy, and everyone gets worried, and he goes, "No, I'm just showing you my magic trick. I've eaten the clone fruit." And he turns into Luffy, and he has his same voice, his same mannerisms. Bon Clay's mannerisms, his flamboyancy, still peeks through every character he does.
Yeah.
But he tells them, if I touch you with my right hand, I can become you, and then with the swipe of my left hand, I can switch to anybody. And if I've seen your face once, and I've done this one time, I can recall it for the rest of my life. So then he starts flipping through every face that he has.
And and this is important because he takes all the Straw Hats except for Sanji.
Oh, I didn't realize that he didn't get Sanji.
He doesn't take Sanji's.
So he takes all of their identities, and they're all like, "Oh my gosh, this is such a crazy party trick." Vivi sees her father's face and thinks, "Oh my gosh, has this man stolen my father's identity? And is he going to use that against us?" She gets a little bit worried. And then Bon Clay basically goes, "Now that I've shown you my party tricks and we've danced together, I see my ship right there. I've got to go. See you guys later." And he gets teary-eyed and says, "Just remember, no matter how long you've been friends, that doesn't define the friendship." And he officially calls them friends, and they're buddies at this point.
He says, "Remember, it's not the length of time that makes a friendship," which is really, that's exactly what you said.
But it's powerful because he
is.
doesn't know these people, but he likes them right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
He judges them fairly from this first encounter and impression, and he says they're friends. Then he hops ship. Everybody realizes, did he just say his name is Bon Clay? Because he's, "Bye, I'm Mr. Two, Bon Clay."
Yeah, his crew yells out, "Mr. Two, there you are."
And so he has now had his identity revealed, and they say, was he supposed to be that villain that we're on the lookout for? One of the Baroque Works characters who has it out for us? He seemed like such a good guy. And that's when Vivi realizes how much trouble this could be for them in a plot, and also that her father's identity could be used against them. And then they all tie their arms up with a piece of fabric so that if he does steal one of their identities, they'll know if he doesn't have fabric on his arm, he's not the real one, which is smart. And Zoro comes up with that, actually, which is one of Zoro's few kind of smart ideas.
The massive cat comes out of the water, and then Vivi tells him that it's a sacred cat, and then they go back.
So this land that we're
matter.
headed to is very much like Egypt. Vivi's name is Nefeltari, just the old Egyptian queen. So this is very much Egypt. There's catfish in the water. In Egypt, cats are sacred, so they don't want to eat the cat. When they get to land and dock at the first port city on Alabasta, the country.
Nanahana. That's a very interesting name, but yeah.
So they get to port, and then Luffy, without wasting a second, bolts off into town and starts following his nose and running. I love these panels. They're so funny with Luffy sniffing the air, and he's running as fast as he can. Meanwhile, we have Ace, who is his older brother, looking for him in a bar, and he's passed out. He's eaten so much.
There's a crowd forming because someone has died eating.
And he ate so much food, which just looks just like Luffy. And when you look at his face, he's drawn like Luffy, but super, super handsome and freckled. And he's just so pretty.
He's so pretty.
I love his character design so much with his freckles and his hat. And he's always shirtless. And he's got combat boots on. He's fucking sexy. He wears his pants low rise, so his pubes would be sticking out of there. I am obsessed with Ace. He is so fucking hot. Just drooling over him. So he's passed out. Luffy is running, looking for food, which is exactly where his older brother is already at, munching down all the food. And Smoker comes into the bar and sees Porcus D. Ace, who has a big bounty on his head. And he says, "What are you doing here? Aren't you the second in command of the Whitebeard Pirates?" And he has a huge tattoo on his back. That's Whitebeard tattoo.
Used to be problematic, but yeah.
So we see Ace wake up, see Smoker, acknowledge him, and say, "I'm looking for Luffy. Are you looking for Luffy too? We might as well not start anything between the two of us because we both have somebody else to go catch, don't we?" And Smoker doesn't like this bullshit. This is where their tension gets really hot, and I totally ship them together.
If you're a pirate, then I'm going to catch you.
If you're a pirate, I'm going to catch you. So this is enemies to lovers trope right here. It's just brimming with possibilities. So Smoker has smoking powers, and then Ace has fire powers. They're super evenly matched. Before they can get into it, somebody crashes through the door and knocks all of them into yesteryear. They literally bounce through several walls.
Yeah, they fly through all these different walls.
And it's Luffy looking for food. So Ace is out, and Smoker realizes what just happened, and he's going for Luffy. Luffy's already scooping up as much food into his mouth as he can and starts running because he sees that Smoker is here to get him, and they evaded him in the last town. So then Ace looks up and is like, "Luffy, I'm back here. It's me, your brother." Luffy can't hear him. He says basically, "Don't worry, I'll hold off Smoker. You just keep running. I'll catch up with you at the next place."
Yeah, it becomes, and it's interesting because in the anime, this is a little bit different. There's another scene in there where Luffy is running to find food and gets lost in the outside of town in the desert. And the rest of the crew, which I thought was interesting. There's a lot more scenes of the crew shopping in this town in the anime.
In here, it's very simplified. It's just Sanji brings back desert clothes.
Yeah.
And he gets the girls belly dancing outfits. And Vivi says, "This isn't going to be any help to us in the desert. We need to be all covered up." And Sanji's simping all over them. He's, "No, if you get hot, I'll carry you."
Yeah, but so you have, it's a little bit different in the anime than the manga, but Smoker starts to chase Luffy. The crew, the Straw Hat crew, is on the outside of town just hanging out. Sanji says they look like bandits because they don't get pirates anymore. They have to wear longer clothes so they don't get destroyed in the desert.
So they look like a gang of thieves.
Yeah, Luffy is running away from Smoker and all of his Navy guys, and is running towards the outside of town. And the Straw Hats are hiding, and he looks and he's, "Oh, there's my crew," and starts to run towards his crew. His whole crew is like, "Don't bring him towards us. It's so dumb." And they run out of town. Ace gets in front of Smoker and all the Navy guys that are chasing the Straw Hats, and as Luffy, "Get out of here," and makes a massive flame wall. And they get out of there.
Which is sick. So he saves them. Obviously, him and Smoker haven't finalized this fight between them. And I do wonder, just a quick spoiler, do they ever fight again, Smoker and Ace?
Nope.
So neither one of them is like a definitive winner, but
When you're daydreaming of a fanfic, they'd never meet up again.
No, in my daydream, in my fanfic, they do meet up again.
Sure. Yeah,
And they burn down the house they're fucking in, and all there's ashes around them as they fucking go to town. And they're switching. They're a verse couple. They're just switch, 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 switch. It's
it
insane.
would be that's something.
On the toilet seat, no lube, no protection.
Seat's just melting.
Everything is melting.
And
The sand around them is turning into glass. That's how hot they are.
But they never meet again.
The crew gets off safely on their ship, and they're headed out to sea when
They're going to the river, not to sea. So there's a river that goes into the country. The way that it's drawn is like the Nile. If you guys would look at the map, on one side there's one bank, on one side there's another bank, and then there's a river that goes directly into the actual country of Alabasta. They're going up the river with their boat.
So they're going up the river, and they're all asking Luffy, who the hell was that guy who was helping you? And he says, that's my big brother. And every single one of them is in agreement that he is cool as fuck. They're like, that guy? For real? Your older brother? He seems sick as hell. And right when they're talking about him, Ace pops up on the side of their boat, and he's, who are you talking about? Aura for days. Fucking, this guy has so much swagger. And then he doesn't stay for long. He says, Luffy, I came to give this to you. I was worried about you. I am looking for somebody who betrayed my crew.
Blackbeard.
Who was on this crew, and I'm in charge. So I gotta go kill him. But I had to find you while I was on my way and give you this piece of paper. As long as you have this piece of paper, I'll be able to find you in the future. And Nami sews it into Luffy's straw hat.
It's called a Vivery card.
And we don't learn what it's called in this. So he sews that into his hat. Ace asks him to join his crew, the Whitebeard crew, and all of the Straw Hats are welcome to come as well. Luffy says, no, thank you. I'm going to be king of the pirates. Ace says, I want Whitebeard to be king of the pirates, so I guess we'll have a fight. They are very brotherly towards each other. They're excited to meet again someday and battle it out. It's really cute. Ace says goodbye and hops on a jet ski wave rider, fire-powered skateboard. It's so dope.
It's a
hoverboard. It's a hoverboard.
Like a hoverboard that's like a windsurfing hoverboard.
It's a windsurfing hoverboard powered on fire. He can't swim either, but because he has these fire powers, he can basically shoot himself off the water with the power of his fire and his steam, and that's how his boat works as well. His one-man surfboard.
Yeah, a surfboard, but on the back there's like a little place where he can put his foot, and because he can make fire, he puts his foot there and it just ignites fire out. So it's like a ignition almost. And so like he just puts his foot in the back and then he can like surf while fires come out. It's really cool.
It's sick. So Dragon didn't eat a devil fruit. Okay, interesting. I'm trying to connect the dots because both brothers have eaten a devil fruit. Goldie Roger have devil fruit powers?
Nope. So no one really knows yet if what his thing is still.
It seems like he's eating the dragon fruit. Okay.
There's already a dragon person. We don't know. There's also something called hockey in One Piece, in which instead of having, because there's people who eat fruit, but there's only a limited number of fruit, right? So there's those guys who have devil powers, but there's also people who are just tougher than shit. The main thing about hockey is that you're strengthening your skin to be as hard as steel, and so you can hit with that. And you're making it so your entire arm is the consistency of a blade or like
and then
steel.
Also the air around it, like all the atoms around you and of space around you can start to use, because we already met Mihawk, and Mihawk was able with hockey to split all those boats in half.
It's debate. I don't know if it was necessarily hockey as much as it's his pure sword style and his skill. But a great example would be like Sanji coming up. His leg becomes, if you're an individual who watches the anime, when his leg becomes black, and it's because he wears these black pants, but you noticeably will see his leg become shiny black, almost like it's covered in oil. That's what's happening, is he's using hockey to strengthen the bones in his actual leg. A lot of these really cool people, but then there's also people like Goldie Roger, Rayleigh, his second in command, who don't have devil fruit powers. They never found a fruit. They didn't want to eat it. Instead, they're just tougher than hell. And it's almost like they're like kung fu masters. Who
can do that kind of Tai Chi style air moving.
Yeah.
So we have Ace popping up onto his little hoverboard, and then we see him destroy a ship.
The Billions, which are the Baroque Works like underdogs, their minions they have 4 ships that are parked outside of Alabasta at the port, and they're holding it down to make sure that no one gets out or in, and they're just being bad guys. And as Ace is about to leave, and the Billions, as they're called, see Ace and they say, hey, if we can take out Ace, the second in command of Whitebeard, we will get promoted by Crocodile, by Mr. Zero, right?
And then Ace just
with one punch,
one fire punch, and you see this
destroys all 4 boats.
Big flame of fire. He's so hot. He could fire fist me right in the ass. I love that man. So
that would be something.
His one punch goes all the way through these boats, destroys all of them, and then he just pieces out of there to get on his mission. But he's cleared the way for Luffy and the crew to not be surrounded by the Broke Works agents. So then they are well on their way. Ace has left the picture for the rest of this volume. And then we flash over to Bon Clay, and we get this dual narration of what's happening with Straw Hats and what's happening with Bon Clay at the same time. Bon Clay is dancing into the desert where Miss Merry Christmas and Mr. Four are showing up to this place called Spider Saloon.
Yep.
And then there is a lady bartending whose name is Paula, and she is actually called Double Finger, which is also, there's a note by Oda that means Double Finger is 1/1 as in January 1st, so she's missing New Year's Eve. So Miss Double Finger, super fucking hot. Bon Clay, hot. Miss Merry Christmas, not hot, ugly. Mr. Four, ugly. And then we see Mr. One.
Mr. One. So
who has a pinhead. He's got a tiny head, but the rest of his body, 12 out of 10. Super hot, Mr. One.
So Miss All Sunday, which is Mr. Zero, Crocodile's partner, has told all the remaining Broke Work members would have a number to meet at the Spider Cafe or Spider Saloon at 8 p.m. and then they're going to meet the boss, which they've never met before.
So this is happening adjacent to the Straw Hats the Straw Hats are trying to get to the where they think the rebels are located at this headquarters. So they're headed over there. So Vivi might be able to negotiate a peace treaty between the rebels so that the rebels aren't also posing this threat to the kingdom at the same time that Broke Works and Crocodile is posing the threat. And remember that Vivi was working as a spy inside Broke Works, so she knows a lot of information, and she knows that there's a plot by Crocodile that she was well aware of to make the king look bad, and that she is explaining this to the Straw Hat crew. There's a kind of powder that's green that steals moisture from the land of the surrounding area.
Dance powder,
and it will make it rain in your city, but it will steal the rain from everywhere else. And she's explaining that's why they're all stuck in a desert, and she wants to go tell the rebels that her dad never stole that powder and used it. It was Broke Works and Crocodile all along
who set them up.
And this is where you get her background flashback sequence where we meet her childhood friend who initially didn't like her because she was a princess and he was a peasant. They get into a fist fight. She becomes part of his San gang when they're little kids. And the San gang is what will go on to be the rebels at their meetings.
Yep.
So Vivi's pretty upset that the rebels, led by her childhood friend, are going against her family. And she thinks if she can explain this underlying plot to them, that they will forgive the king and work with Vivi against Crocodile. So adjacent to that, we have Baroque Works all meeting up. Miss All Sunday has arranged them at the Spider Saloon, and then she gets them into a car, and it's a little chariot.
It's a chariot pulled by a turtle
and
with a cowboy hat.
Are on their way to where she's going to introduce them all to Crocodile, which is Crocodile's casino, which is called the Rain. It's the city's biggest casino, Rain Dinners Casino. So this, if you guys are watching on YouTube, you might be able to see this.
It's just a pyramid with a massive
crocodile
on it. It's really cool.
It looks just like the Luxor in Vegas. Crocodile owns it. They all get in there, and we see another character from our past, Mr. 3, show up. And Crocodile, as he's introducing himself to all of these people who've only ever known him as Mr. Zero and have never seen his face before, sees Mr. 3 and says, What's going on? You look awful. And he says, I know I was defeated by the Straw Hats, but I came here to get your forgiveness and to rejoin the mission. And he says, what do you mean you failed? Because Sanji has already tricked Crocodile into believing that he was Mr. 3 on the phone.
And that Vivi and the Straw Hats were killed.
So this whole time, Crocodile thought that he had the upper hand. Vivi was already gone. The Straw Hats are gone. Instead, he now realizes that he has been fooled by one of the Straw Hats. And Mr. 3 failed all along. And he takes Mr. 3 and he throws him into a shark pit. But it's an alligator pit in his casino.
Yeah, he does a Dr. Evil where he presses a button on his chair and then he just falls through a trap door into a massive crocodile pit, which has massive crocodiles. Not small ones, but huge, massive crocodiles.
So we see how evil Crocodile is. He's also extremely sexy. So I'm still, at this point, I'm not mad enough at Crocodile to hate him. I'm for him a little bit.
No, and then he reveals his kind of grand plan, which is
Project Utopia, which is to take over Alabasta.
what's happening is you have all these different pressures that are happening in this country. They don't have water, the rebels, the kingdom is weak, all these different things. And Crocodile has positioned all these pressures to go off all at once. And like when it happens, the country itself collapses because there's so much turmoil and chaos. Everyone's killing each other that he's able to come in and smooth over the country because he's been playing the hero and saving the country. And so he's trying to ultimately, what's the word?
Manipulate the situation so that he's in control.
Yeah, to follow the crown, which is there's
Usurp.
a word.
He's trying
Usurp, thank you.
He's trying to usurp Vivi's dad. So once they get filled in on Project Utopia and know what they're supposed to be doing, we also see Bon Clay recognizing all the wanted posters and saying, oh, I actually met them. I didn't realize they were the enemy. So I have all of their faces and I would be able to help out in that way. You can see that he's a little conflicted already because he liked these guys and he's not ready for them to be enemies. So back with Vivi, we have her telling the rest of her tale about the rebels. We see a picture of the grown-up Koza, who she used to be best friends with. He's a rebel. When they get to this town where they think the rebels are going to be, nobody is there. It's a ghost town except for one skinny old man, and she doesn't recognize him right off the bat. But then he recognizes her and says, oh my God, Princess Vivi.
His name is Toto.
And he says, you don't recognize me. It's because I'm so thin now. There's no food. There's no water. Nobody's here. My son, the leader of the rebels, who you're besties with, he has gone to this other town and that's their headquarters now. You'll have to head there if you want to see him. And this is where Luffy says, I quit. I don't want to do this anymore. We're not going to go to another desert town, be thirsting and starving the entire way, just so you can talk to these rebels. This is not important. Vivi gets super pissed off. They start fighting. And then Luffy full on punches her in the face. And he's just, wake up call. You can't be the only person who risks their life. There's going to be bloodshed in this war. And it could be the rebels. It could be your people. It could be your family. It could be you. It could be us. But people are going to sacrifice their life. And you have to let them. And going to fight the rebels is actually not going to get us anywhere. I'm ready to fight Crocodile. Crocodile's ruined this country. He's confused the rebels into thinking that the real enemy is you and your dad. So instead of going to talk to the rebels, let's go right to him and kill him. That's where this volume ends, is them making this realization that they need to abandon the goal of doing a peace treaty with the rebels. They need to head right for Crocodile. It's lucky because they still have a bit of advantage knowing that Crocodile thought they were dead this whole time.
Yep.
So if they can get there quick enough, he might not be prepared to fight them. And then we have Crocodile and his crew finalizing their plans for Project Utopia, realizing that they're going to have to defeat the Straw Hats and this whole kingdom resting on Vivi's shoulders and the Straw Hat's shoulders to get saved. So really exciting volume. I thought it was super fun. We met a lot of cool characters. I have a crush on so many of them, but I do have one definitive delusional boyfriend. Who is yours from this volume?
So one thing, this doesn't even matter because it's just part of when they're traveling through the desert itself, we didn't mention this, but when they get to the head of the river, they stop and they start going through the desert. But when they stop at the head of the river, there are these creatures that are half seal, half turtle. They're called Kung Fu Jugons. And that is my delusional boyfriend, is the Kung Fu Jugon.
Because when they get defeated, they have to become the apprentice to whoever defeated them. So you like the loyalty, I'm guessing.
No, yeah.
And the humility.
Once they're defeated, because they practice Kung Fu their whole lives, once they get defeated, they take on the person who defeated them. It becomes like their master, and then they learn all their fighting moves and stuff like that. And so that's also why, but this I just love the way that he drew this thing. It's out of nowhere. He made this turtle seal thing, and it comes back into play throughout the story, which I like a lot.
It was a totally cute creature. Can you guess who my delusional boyfriend was from this?
And it destroys Usopp. It beats up Usopp, which is always fun. Yours would be Ace.
Absolutely. 1,000%. 10 toes down. Ace was my delusional boyfriend.
10 toes down.
Ace is my delusional boyfriend from this volume. He is so hot. I would say that he might be my number one delusional boyfriend above everybody at the moment. Hear me out. I know Shanks has been my delusional boyfriend this whole time, but you never get to see Shanks. Also, Shanks wears a shirt and Ace doesn't wear a shirt. And that really does it for me. His big ass back tattoo, his freckles. He is so goddamn hot.
He's too physically hot to wear a shirt.
Oh, that's right.
Because he ate the fire fruit. So he's too...
I would never have to pay an electricity bill again. He would just warm the house with his fire. I bet his feet are never cold in bed. I'm obsessed with him. If I thought Luffy was hot in the last episode or 2 episodes ago, if Luffy was my delusional boyfriend, Ace is just Luffy on steroids. He's Luffy's hot older brother. Hot damn. If Luffy was like my high school boyfriend and Ace was in college...
That was his brother?
I would be leaving my boyfriend for his brother. And that's the only person I can ever say that for. I would absolutely be like, just getting close to Luffy so I could get closer to Ace. I'm obsessed with him. That man is so fucking hot. He's a good big brother. I bet he can make food just because he can his own meat, so he could make me any food anytime. I love Ace.
He could probably make something pretty good.
And then my favorite ships, obviously, from this are going to be Ace and Smoker, Vivi and Koza, Django and Full Body. That's where everybody stands right now. Do you have anybody else?
Did you have anything for Crocodile?
Ooh, Crocodile and maybe Doublefinger.
I knew you were going to bring up Miss Doublefinger.
They just would be really hot together.
I can't remember if Miss Doublefinger comes back.
Yeah, I don't want Robin and Crocodile to be together. They look like they could be cute together. They're evenly matched power-wise. He's using her, and I can see that already. Very unhealthy. But Doublefinger could be a good woman behind Crocodile, because she seems also truly evil. So they would go well together. So that's our episode on Volume 18. Thank you guys so much for listening and being here. Thank you, Wolfgang, for doing this series with me. If you guys haven't already, if you're listening on a podcast app, hit auto downloads, leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and tell a friend about the show. It really does help. That's the best way you can support us, and turning on your auto downloads. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit subscribe and tune in every Tuesday for our new One Piece episode, every Thursday for a BL and romance episode. And until next time, remember, sometimes the delusion
is the solution.
Bye.
See you guys.